Hi, today I am going to start some onions, some bulb onions inside. So I have a cat here, Tiberius, who you know loves to come up and be in videos, has decided he's going to get here with me. Down you go, Tiberius. He's very persistent. All right, so this is a technique that I learned from Gary Pilartek over at the Rusted Garden. He is a great garden teacher, has a wonderful YouTube channel, and runs a mentoring group that I've been a part of for the last year. I've learned so much. Thank you, Gary. So I did not invent this process, but I have used it for starting onions and leeks. Here's Tiberius's tail again, starting onions and leeks indoors. So this year I'm actually going to do a little bit of an experiment. I'm going to start some of my onions indoors in the way I have using this method. Tiberius is very determined today. And I'm going to actually try an experiment with winter sowing outside. I probably am not going to start those today, but I might start those next week. So we'll let you know how that goes as well. All right, so I'm going to plant two kinds of onions. These are bulb onions. One is Australian Brown, and the other is Granex-Hybrid. Now, these are a short day onion, but they are okay for growing in my region. There's a little bit of a trick to growing onions. I'm going to have to deal with this cat. Be right back. All right, I'm back. So this is not hard. You're going to need two roasting pans, like lasagna pans like this. I suppose you could get bigger ones, but I think you don't want anything smaller than about this in terms of size. I guess that's about maybe 3 inches deep so that they can take root. And you're going to actually poke holes in one and plant into that. The other one is to hold water in drainage. So one is going to sit right in the other, just like this. So let's go ahead and poke the holes in, fill up with soil, and plant these onions. You always want to make sure you've got something underneath so you don't damage your counter space or wherever you're working. I'm working inside today because it's been very, very cold, blustery, and snowy. So I'm just going to put some drainage holes in here. This is not rocket science. It is not hard to do, but it is essential. All right, so that's done. I'm going to put the one with the holes in top of this guy here and fill it with some potting mix. That your potting mix, whatever you're using, is pre-moistened. It doesn't have to be soaking wet because we are going to water these, but you want this potting mix to have hydrated. I followed a tip that Gary Pilartek recommends, which is before you actually use your potting mix, to pour boiling water onto it to kill any fungus gnat eggs or anything like that that might be lurking in there. Okay, so we're getting there here. I'm going to pack it down. I have also made some labels on my spoons. I'm going to do half of this with the Australian brown onions and half with Granex. So I'm just going to put it down the middle and sort of point these in the right direction. In other words, those starting here and that way are the Granex. These are going to be the Australian browns. All right, so I'm just going to start by creating a few planting holes. Actually, I'm just going to do a little trench. You can plant these pretty close together and then separate them later. That's a really good technique to use. My seeds are from the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and they are a company located in Virginia, and they have seeds that are specifically good for growing in the mid-Atlantic and southeastern states, which is where I'm located in Virginia. So I'm not affiliated with them. You know, I don't have any affiliations. I'm just a little, my son would call it a mini micro non-influencer. I really just do this because I love doing it. I love talking about what I'm doing in the garden, and I love planting things, and I'm a former teacher, so I guess maybe that's can't get that old bug out of my system. Hopefully you're learning something by watching. Okay, these are the Australian. Just sort of, it's hard to see these obviously, but I'm just sprinkling them down the line, and they hopefully will have a good germination rate, and we'll be able to grow them and plant them out. Now I'm going to make some lines for the Granex. I love watching onions and leeks and things like that sprout. They're so very cute. These are the Granex-Hybrids. It's a little confusing, this whole thing about the short day and long day thing, but basically what I gather is short day onions are better in the deep south, where the days are not as long or they're down in the south. Long day onions are for more northern climes, and we are somewhere in between. So there are things called intermediate onions. Now the ones that the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange sells are particularly selected for the mid-Atlantic and upper southeast. They will grow. In other words, they'll grow in my region. And I trust them because they are located just very close to where my garden is in Virginia. You can sow them fairly thickly because when they grow, you can easily pull them apart and transplant them. Okay, now I'm just going to cover up those little patches. Actually, I'm going to get good soil to seed contact. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to put some water in the bottom of this tray, and then we'll let the water absorb. All right, once that's done, I'm just going to put this back in here. All right, so that water is just going to sit there for about 10 minutes. Any water that is left after 10 minutes, I'll just pour out, and then I'll tuck these. I'll probably start these in a nice sunny window. When they pop up, I might move them to my to the grow lights. But they are, they'll pop up in about a week to 10 days, maybe 14 days. It just depends. So grow little onions, grow. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoy gardening adventures and watching, learning about gardens, do consider giving a like and subscribing. So thank